So before Friday night, the last time the New York Knicks played the Miami Heat, they were facing elimination from the NBA playoffs. On Friday, they battled the Heat. They faced elimination from the NBA's inaugural in-season tournament. However, the Knicks, they had a major comeback against their Eastern Conference rival, and they got a 100-98 victory over Miami at the world's most famous arena. Joining me to break it all down is a contributor to the New York Post and the Action Network. That will be Bryan Fonseca, who joins me now. Bryan, how's it going?
Going well. Still, recovering from Thanksgiving, but going well otherwise.
We all are. I mean, recovering in a good way, which means that you ate well, which is a good thing following the Thanksgiving holiday. And the Knicks, well, they feasted in the fourth quarter, Bryan, because they had a huge comeback. They were down by as many as 18 points in the final frame. What went right for the Knicks in the fourth quarter, and how big was this victory for the Knicks to get their 9th win of the season and also stay alive in the in-season tournament?
Perfect spot for them to take advantage of a team in the Miami Heat who have been playing better but have not been playing well in fourth quarters this year. They're 5-11 in fourth quarters this year. They're minus 55 in fourth quarters this year after this performance where they were outscored 29-11 in the fourth by the Knicks. And I didn't think the Knicks were going to go away quietly after a bad third quarter where they started off giving up a 19-0 run to the Heat, which is a little worrisome, but you felt like the Knicks were going to find their way back, and the Heat have had trouble generating offense in the fourth quarter all season long. The Knicks were able to take advantage of that, get points off of misses, get points in transition, actually convert some of the three-point looks that they were generating earlier in the game, the wide open ones, and Emmanuel quickly, I thought, was electric, and Jalen Brunson, who kills this Heat team more than any other Knick, was somebody who really sort of took that mantle in the fourth quarter and closed it out. Remember, Jalen Brunson is the reason that this series almost went 7 games last year in the playoffs, because he single-handedly pushed them in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter as well, in Game 6 in Miami. So they were able to find the things that they do well and ultimately take advantage of a team that hasn't been sharp in the fourth quarter so far this season.
Good stat there on the Heat not being sharp in the fourth quarter and being outscored. And you mentioned it here. You can't talk about this win without talking about Jalen Brunson, who was tremendous in the fourth quarter. What did you make of his performance at the Garden on Friday night? And in your eyes, has he established himself as one of the best clutch players in the league?
I thought he should have been an all-star last year. I thought he should have been most improved. I thought he had a case for all-NBA. So none of this is terribly surprising for Jalen Brunson. I think he's great. I think he's one of the best guards in the Eastern Conference at the very least. And I think in terms of the fourth quarters, there are other guys you'd probably trust more, some of the elite players in the league, but you're not going to get too many names before you get to his. He's been that good, and definitely on this Knicks team, he's the guy that I probably trust the most because of Julius Randle's sort of inconsistency where, he had a high turnover game. I thought he started off the game very well, but after a while, you're starting to see, wait a minute, some of these assists that he were getting were starting to come at the cost of some turnovers on other possessions. And then eventually he just sort of faded into the background where Jalen Brunson was able to take over. I thought RJ Barrett's been better this year, but you still trust Jalen Brunson more in that spot. And he's just been great. He's the leader of this team, and he plays like it when it matters, which is really the key.
That is the key. He's been big in the clutch for the Knicks. Hit some big shots down the stretch of this win over the Miami Heat. Now, there's been a lot in this early season made about the play of Mitchell Robinson, but the Knicks bench, they were instrumental in this comeback and pulling out this win. After the game, Jalen Brunson, he said he thinks the bench is the best in the NBA. Do the Knicks have the best bench in the league?
I don't think so because they're not consistent enough. I need them to be better more often. Emmanuel quickly in particular has had some strong games this year and had another one tonight, but there's still your occasional 4 for 13 or 3 for 11. Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, when he comes up off the bench. I think, these guys, they have the capability of being one of the best bench units in the league every night, but they still have to be able to do it. I think Isaiah Hartenstein is somebody who gives you good minutes as well. So I think the Knicks do have a quality bench unit. They do kind of rely on them a little bit more than you'd want. And that's really because some of their key guys can be inconsistent. which we've talked about a little bit earlier, but I do think the bench unit is really good and can win them some games. And they were instrumental in this comeback tonight, because it's not about the scoring with the Knicks bench or the Knicks team in general. It's also about some of these hustle plays and some of these defensive stops that they can get late in the stretch. You know, the Heat are a team that thrive when the game gets muddy. The Knicks are too, and the Knicks also have some shot creation that they could generate from guys like Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. So I think that if the bench is able to make some of those key hustle plays and everyone could do the dirty work around what Jalen Brunson does, for example, down the stretch, then yeah, you have the formula for something. And then, you know, later on we could have conversations about what it takes for this team to make the next step. But they do have some pieces to be a good team and return to the playoffs. I think that.
Definitely have that. Definitely a good start. Knicks now 9-6, as I mentioned, on the season with their win against the Heat. They're now 2-1 in East Group B. They still have a chance to advance to the knockout round of the in-season tournament. That is Bryan Fonseca, contributor to the New York Post Sports Department and the Action Network. Always good talking some hoops with you, Bryan. Be well, man.
Absolutely. Anytime.